Hello friends, and welcome to Figure Study, where we appreciate the form in Transformers. And I think the last time I did a video on a Movieverse toy, I made mention of the fact that that was it for the movie toys that I own, and I was wrong. For whatever reason, I completely forgot about this guy. This guy is Revenge of the Fallen Skystalker, and he is probably the coolest figure of a character that did not appear in any of the movies that I've ever seen in any of the Transformers toy lines. Like, it's a small figure, but it's really, really cool. So, Skystalker is basically a flying wing design drone, I guess. I think he's supposed to be a drone. There's not a whole lot to him in terms of general detail in vehicle mode, but that kind of works to his benefit. Like, it's a very kind of simple shape, very sparse on the color, where it's just like, this dark. It's weird. Depending on the light, it looks like it's either a very dark gray or a very dark, slightly olive brown. It's a strange color. But yeah, there's not a lot of detail to this mode, which I think actually works really well, because it's meant to be a stealth drone, so of course it looks all stealthy. There's just enough detail though to make certain things pop, like this kind of gunmetal color for the engines here, both the back and the intakes. It's like a little bit right up top there that serves no purpose whatsoever, but it does add a little bit of visual interest. And of course, you've got the 808 for whatever reason, and the requisite Decepticon logo with little bars on the side to kind of, I guess, make it look like an Air Force thing. Other than that, the only other real color going on is this kind of ominous looking red eye in the center there. And yeah, it's a neat looking drone. It's a little bit weird how it kind of, the front angles down like that. I'm not entirely sure why it's not up more. Like, maybe it's designed on a real world thing, I don't know, but seems a little off. It's still neat. It's a really, really sleek and cool looking flying wing thing with a ton of robot junk on the underside. But it is neat. One thing though that I do think is pretty cool about this vehicle mode, it is covered in interesting textural details. Like, there's just all these little lines and rivets going all over, and even just some interesting patterns kind of all throughout. Flip it around, you can see it's like, for whatever reason, there's an M on the front there. Maybe it's for Megatron, I don't know. More kind of just general line work. Some of these lines seem to not have any real purpose, but they add sort of like an interesting texture, so when you're looking at the alt mode from a distance, even though it's like a flat color for the most part, there's still some visual interest there just because of the subtle line work. And also, it looks like Skystalker is a fan of Wonder Woman. But yeah, this is a nifty little... Come on. Come on. I probably shouldn't have tucked this landing gear away. Come on, there we go. It's a very nifty little spy drone thing. And for a quick comparison, here is a Titan's Return Deluxe. Got another Decepticon in there, so we can do comparisons that way. You can see Skystalker is definitely tiny, but got a really decent wingspan, gotta say. And of course, what comparison on this channel would be complete without Samus? So yeah, I believe Skystalker is a scout class, and that would be why he's somewhat on the tiny side, but again, very impressive little figure for being so small. I think that's enough prattling on about the alt mode, because that's not really where the impressiveness is. That is reserved for the robot mode, so let's get right to that. And that was fast enough. I probably didn't even need to use the theme music, but here we have Skystalker in his robot mode, and this is very cool. It's such a simple, quick transformation, but I really, really like how this guy ends up looking. He's just like this really creepy and imposing, almost semi-monstrous, but like in a quiet way, kind of form. It's very, very cool. Now these wings on the back, they're wings, so you can like angle them however you please. Typically when I have them on the shelf, I have them tucked back just for space reasons, but I do think they look better, kind of flared out. Yeah, he is just very cool. Proportionally, he does have very large shins. That's kind of the Mega Man boot thing going. And what's weird about his legs is the knee joint is on the inside there. So it's like instead of being in the center, it's kind of off to the side. So it's kind of a strange knee, but like he's not really going for a strictly humanoid form, I don't think, so it's fine. You definitely get a bit more color in this mode too, where he's got that lighter gray that... there we go. I was wondering why he wasn't standing properly. Got that lighter gray that still has a little bit of an olive drab to it almost. Don't quite get that, but it's okay. It's still neat. I like the just weedy little, almost skeletal arms that he has going. And I do think it's interesting how this gray piece that adds just a little bit of detail to his chest area is actually the landing gear. So that's kind of fun. Also, there's some almost like rib detail underneath here, but it ends up being covered up by this chest piece. Not entirely sure if that's intentional or no. Yeah, very cool. Very cool silhouette on this guy. Again, I like how he's just kind of spindly and monstrous. In terms of the head, since he's so tiny, I'm not sure if I can get him much closer than that, but like the head does look really cool. I like how it doesn't have a ton of sort of, like it doesn't have character to it, but the fact that it doesn't have character is what gives it character. I know that's weird, but like, it's a really nifty design. It's like almost like a futuristic train for a face with like that red eye, but then these kind of bits, purple bits that kind of come around and form the ears. It's a very, very simple but threatening looking head design. I really do like that. And then the wings on the underside, you actually get some more detail here, like some mechanical detail, what looks like possibly VTOL engines, even though they don't actually come through on the top side, so don't really know. But still, some nice detail. And anyone who's familiar with this toy is probably aware that these can actually be detached. And this, I think, is cool in its own right because it gives the wings kind of this tattered look, which is just super cool and feeds even further into that somewhat kind of monstrous look that he's got going. And then these can be pegged into his hands, and they have to kind of go at an angle if you want them to sit in well. But honestly, I think it works because when they're angled down like that, like he looks ready to go. Like this is a bad dude that you do not want to mess with. And I really, really like that look. And he's so small and simple, but like so cleverly designed. And then yes, you can, of course, angle the wings back to give him more like a cape or something. Yeah, I really do think Skystalker is a very cool looking bot. And for a quick size comparison, here we have Samus. You can see he is, I guess Scout size. I mean, I never really was into that many. Like, this is pretty much the only movie Scout figure that I own, so I'm not entirely sure how average the height is, but he's definitely on the smaller side. And for completionist's sake, there is our Titan's Return Deluxe. Actually, get Samus out of the way so we can two of them a little closer together. And you can see he's bigger than a Legends class figure from Titan's Return, but still kind of on the short side. Yeah, Skystalker is just super cool. I'm not entirely sure if I can say he's my favorite movie figure that I have, just because there are a lot of really cool movie figures that I have. But he is up there. He's got to be in my top 5 at least, because he is just really, really cool. And I love just, like, there's a surprising amount of versatility to such a small and simple design. Like, just the clean transformation, really easy to do. He's got a very easy to pull off Gerwalk mode, which I guess is official. I haven't shown it, but it's basically just the drone mode and then you pull out the legs. But it's amazing how effective such a simple little toy is. Like, just the axes coming off of the wings, the fact that, like, they make cool looking accessories and make the wings look really cool and kind of frayed and beaten up. This is just a very, very neat toy. The only real gripes that I have with it are the fact that the feet do this auto-closing thing, which it's fine, because once you get him sitting, like, once he's actually standing and planted, he's fine. It's not a problem, but it's a little annoying. But I actually like the design of the feet, the fact that it's like just these little bird claw-looking things. And the other technical gripe is the fact that he's got this bit kind of sticking off of his arm that just kind of obscures the arm a bit. You could argue that maybe it's like a fist punching blade thing. I really don't think that's what the intention was. And it would be nice if if this rotated around so that the hand was a little bit more free. But it's a scout class toy, so I don't really think that I don't really think that's necessarily a reasonable complaint. Because he's a simple toy that does what he does exceptionally well. Anyway, I think that's going to do it, because I've gushed enough about this guy. But yeah, Skystalker, very cool. Hard to find for a decent price from what I've seen, at least before I got my hands on him. But if you can find him, absolutely get him, because he is very cool. Anyway, that has been my look at Revenge of the Fallen Scout Class Skystalker, and if you are inclined, then by all means try and track this guy down. Thank you everybody for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any combination of those three would make me a happy Rob, and remember, art is more than meets the eye.